Good morning, friends, and a warm welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship at Stony Brook, located on traditional ancestral land of the Settlecott people. Whether you are here in our sanctuary or online, we are one congregation worshiping together. So all of us here, let's give a wave and say hi to the folks online through the camera up there on your left. Hi! My name is Maureen Shaman, and it is my honor to be serving as the worship associate along with our service leader today, my friend John Seppala. John grew up in St. Paul, Minnesota. After serving 3 years in the U.S. Army, he put himself through college while working as a St. Paul police officer. Along the way, he met and fell in love with a woman who was hesitant to be married to a cop. Loving Terry more than he loved law enforcement, he returned to school for an MBA, Master of Business Administration, and launched a career as an organization and management development consultant, assisting organizations with strategic planning and building more effective cultures. She agreed to marry him, and they had a daughter, Jessica, whom some of you know, and who still lives in Minnesota. John focused a significant portion of his practice on management and executive coaching, and found he often did his best work during informal conversations over a cup of coffee. He also became certified in civil and divorce mediation and mental health crisis intervention, a field in which he trained first responders and other emergency personnel. A UU for almost his entire adult life, John joined UUFSB with his late wife, Terry, 24 years ago after they moved here from Minnesota. Since then, he has worn many hats, including musician and choir member, board member, endowment committee member, and pastoral associate. John will also be doing double duty as a musician today, singing a song about old love that he and Terry loved, as well as a song he wrote, and he'll be joined by Pete Cotta. Bethany Riddle will provide the music for our hymns, and our tech team is Rob Pond, Linda Cortese, and Rich Hall. A special welcome to any of you who are here for the first time or who still feel like a newcomer. We are so glad you are with us, and we look forward to getting to know you. If you're willing, please raise your hand so we may greet you personally after the service. Welcome. Welcome. We hope you will stay for a while as our guests at coffee and conversation hour after the service. For those with us online, if you sign off after the service, grab some coffee or tea, and return to our website, you'll find the link for our virtual coffee hour and small group chat. Whether here or online, you will find friendly folks who are happy to answer any question you may have. At any time during the service, you are invited to come forward and place a pebble into the bowl of water on the side table under the Joys and Sorrows board. A kind word or a thoughtful act, like a pebble dropped in water, sends ripples out into the world. Should you wish to make a promise or let go of one, remember someone, release a bit of pain, or otherwise mark some important event or occasion, you may quietly send your thoughts outward as you drop a pebble into the water, connecting your individual intention with the intentions of all in our community. Remember that next week is our annual homecoming service. We ask you to do 4 things, so take note. Wear one color of the rainbow. We're going to make a rainbow. Bring water from your home or someplace that is special to you. Decide on an intention, goal, or wish, or dream for the upcoming year you may share during the water communion. And 4, show up on time so we can get the congregation photo quickly. We will start outside back here as we usually do, weather permitting. Please now silence your cell phones so that we may all be fully present as we enter into the sacred space of worship with the sounding of the bell. Please be silent until the sound of the bell can no longer be heard.
this world, cautious and oh so serious. Till the life I was living was nearly a near-death experience. But I changed my story when I finally saw where I was wasn't where it was at. And now I'm alive, I let destiny drive, I'm stretching out in the back. If I lose my job, I'll sleep till noon. If the news is bad, I'll watch cartoons. And if my house burns down, I'll have lots more room and a much better view of the moon. In the vastness of space, the ever-expanding universe, we are all puny specks of galactic dust here on Mother Earth. Now I ain't no preacher, don't know if I'll reach her, but here is some humble advice. Use your uncommon sense, you will surely live an uncommonly sensible life. If you lose your job, sleep till noon. If the news is bad, watch cartoons. And if your house burns down, you'll have lots more room and a much better view of the moon. If you lose your job, sleep till noon. If the news is bad, watch cartoons. And if your house burns down, you'll have lots more room and a much better view of the moon. If I lose my job, I'll sleep till noon. And if the news is bad, I'll watch cartoons. And if my house burns down, I'll have lots more room and a much better view of the moon. Yeah, a much better view of the moon.
That's awesome. Thank you, John and Pete. The flaming chalice is the symbol of Unitarian Universalism. I would like to invite Bethany Riddle to come light our chalice as I say these words by Sharon Wiley. For those online, you may want to light a chalice or a candle as we light ours here. It is okay to be tired of change. It is okay to be tired of everything different. Okay to feel weary of resiliency and wholeness and learning and growth. And okay to yearn simply for rest. It's okay to be grouchy and unsatisfied and all the ordinary human ways of being that we are. Let this morning be a reminder that you are loved. Let our time together soothe what is restless in you. May you be comforted in knowing that whatever you are feeling today and other days, you are not alone. You are never alone. Come, let us worship together. Thank you. Please rise in body or spirit and join in singing hymn number 354, We Laugh, We Cry.
Today's Time for All Ages is a beautiful story entitled The Invisible String by Patricia Karst. Lisa and Jeremy, the twins, were asleep one calm and quiet night. Suddenly, it began to rain very hard. Thunder rumbled until it got so loud that it woke them up. "Mommy, Mommy," they cried out as they ran to her. "Oh, don't worry, you two. It's just the storm making all the noise. Go back to bed." "Well, we want to stay close to you," said Jeremy. "We're scared." Mom said, "You know we're always together, no matter what." "But how can we be together when you're out here and we're in bed?" Mom held something right in front of them and said, "Well, this is how." Rubbing their sleepy eyes, the twins came closer to see what Mommy was holding. I was about your age when my mommy first told me about the invisible string. "Well, I don't see anything," said Jeremy. "Well, you don't need to see the invisible string. People who love each other are always connected by a very special string made of love. But if you can't see it, how do you know it's there?" asked Lisa. "Well, even though you can't see it with your eyes, you can feel it with your heart and know that you are always connected to everyone you love. When you're at school and you miss me, love travels all the way along the string until I feel it tug on my heart. And when you tug right back, we feel it in our hearts," said Jeremy. "Does Jasper the cat have an invisible string?" Lisa asked. "Well, she sure does," said Mom. "And best friends like me and Lucy?" asked Lisa. "Best friends too." "Well, how far can that string reach?" "Anywhere and everywhere," Mom said. "Would it reach me even if I were a submarine captain deep down in the ocean?" asked Jeremy. "Yes," said Mom, "even there." "Or a mountain climber?" "Even there." "A ballerina in France?" "Even there." "A jungle explorer?" "Even there." "How about an astronaut out in space?" "Yes, even there." Then Jeremy quietly asked, "Can my string reach all the way to Uncle Brian in heaven?" "Yes, even there." "Does my string go away when you're mad at us?" "Never," said Mom. "Love is stronger than anger, and as long as love is in your heart, the string will always be there. Even when you get older and can't agree about things like what movie to see or what game to play in the back seat or what time to go to bed. Oh, that's right, you two should be in bed." And with that, they all laughed as Mom chased the twins back to their beds. No one is ever alone. Thank you.
I was in the habit of writing poems for Terry on Valentine's Day rather than going to Stop and Shop and pawing through the cards. So also on our anniversaries, which were in May. After she passed, I saw no reason to stop that practice, but to continue it as a way of maintaining the invisible thread between us. I found that with each poem, I was also able to track my own progress in adapting to my new single life. So Valentine's Day 2024, which was the February after she had passed in January. "What wonder I felt when you said to me that you thought I was beautiful to you. The love we shared was easy and free, with beauty of spirit embodied and imbued. I learned from you the spark of joy to learn to accept what was freely given, with spontaneity to employ a search for joy in simply living. Now you've gone on to fields of gold. I'm left with bright memories that allude to the life we shared that I will tightly hold. I'll look forever back with gratitude for my time on earth with you. And then this year, Valentine's Day 2025, I'll light a candle, Terry, and think of you as I remember Valentine's days we knew, and bless the days we used to share, a beacon bright beyond compare. Its flame will burn as a guiding light to lead me onward through the night. Oh, today, this candle's gleam is a Valentine's tribute of my esteem. Through highs and lows, we stood so tall. With love and pride, we had it all. I hold the love and the life we knew as a cherished memory, strong and true. The seasons turn, and I could grow tired of this constant change, but my soul is wired to keep on moving, though it's hard, on a different path toward a different star.
Let us enter into a time of meditation. After we listen to the meditation words, we will enter into a period of silence. Bethany will bring us out of the silence with hymn number 123, Spirit of Life. If you aren't familiar with it, you may wish to open your gray hymnal to that page now. This is Prayer for Compassion by Elizabeth Tarbox. Spirit of life, I give thanks for the opportunities to love that present themselves in the turmoil of life, where the light catches the tears in another's eyes, where hands are held and there are moments without words. Let us be present then and alive to the possibility of changing. Let us seek to make another's well-being the object of our concern. Let us seek to be present to another's pain, to bathe another's wounds, hear another's sadness, celebrate another's success, and allow the other's story to change our own. Let us stand in the morning on damp grass, hear the syllables of bird song, and fill up on sweet air that rolls over oceans and continents. Let us look up at the stars and the planets that fill the night sky with majesty. Let us witness the first fresh buds of spring amid the brown sticks of winter. And for all of this, let us be grateful. Let us not defend ourselves against the discomfort of unruly emotion, nor seek to close down our hearts for fear a new love will come to shake our foundations. Let us instead be open to discovering a new way of seeing an old problem, or appreciating the perfection of a seashell, or the possibility of friendship. For in giving ourselves to what we do not understand, we receive life's blessings, and in taking care of another, we are cared for. At each service, we take a collection which we share with a local organization working for a more just future. In the summer, we support organizations that help to meet the food needs of our Long Island neighbors. The Share the Plate recipient for August is Island Harvest, Long Island's largest food relief organization. Their volunteers and staff deliver millions of pounds of food to a network of 570 food pantries, soup kitchens, and other organizations helping those in need. 55 community gardens contribute fresh produce to their food supplies. They target at-risk populations with specific programs for children, veterans, and seniors. Right now, Island Harvest is facing the severe challenge of federal funding cuts, which have already impacted their distribution of food assistance, and even deeper cuts are anticipated. Your contribution will help Island Harvest continue to deliver essential food services across Long Island. So please, let's give as much as we can. And remember to bring in non-perishable foods to place in the bins in our lobby, I left mine in the car, which go to Island Harvest all year long. You may make your gifts in the collection plate or online, where the link to donate is in the comments. The offering will now be gratefully received.
We've got an old love, one we never will get tired of, one that fits us like an old glove, one to warm the winter days. We don't have to say I love you quite as often as we used to. Old love just goes without saying, but we still say it anyway. I met you beneath the willow. You were young, a little shy, but we would sit and talk for hours, watch the river flowing by. You would laugh at all my stories, and then at dusk I'd walk you home. Who'd have guessed we'd walk a lifetime, growing up and growing old. We've got an old love, one we never will get tired of, one that fits us like an old glove, one to warm the winter days. We don't have to say I love you quite as often as we used to. Old love just goes without saying, but we still say it anyway.
We may not live this town we live in. Life's not as easy as we planned. I always meant to give you diamonds, but you still wear a plain gold band. That old river keeps on rolling. We just don't know what's in store. But in spite of all of this, I don't love you like I did. I love you so much more.
We've got an old love, one we never will get tired of, one that fits us like an old glove, one to warm the winter days. We don't have to say I love you quite as often as we used to. Old love just goes without saying, but we still say it anyway. Yes, old love just goes without saying, but we still say it anyway.
We acknowledge these pebbles and their ripples which we see before us. May those ripples carry our shared joys and sorrows, reminding us that we are connected and we hold each other in love and caring.
It's been about 6 or 7 years since I've had the privilege, hopefully that'll be the only typo in my voice today, of leading a service here. This summer's theme, Adapting to Change, Nourishment, Acceptance, Resilience, and Hope, spoke volumes to me, as over the last few years I've had ample opportunity to reflect on these topics, especially the acceptance, resilience, and hope parts, though not necessarily in that order. As you use, following our diverse spiritual paths and saying our prayers to whom it may concern, our open-mindedness and adaptability can be a strength, I think, can be a strength when facing life's unpredictable moments, since we practice a wide-open, liberal approach to religion without the certainty of a creed or a specific doctrine to adhere to, as many other faiths provide. I'd like to think that our adaptable approach can, or at least might, prepare one for life's uncertainties. Life rarely follows a script. We plan, we dream, but sometimes life throws us a curveball we never saw coming, leaving us with the challenge of adapting to a reality we didn't expect. This morning, I want to share my own very personal story about adapting to an unexpected and profound change in my own life and how that change has illuminated our summer's theme for me. My partner of 50 years and wife of almost 47, Terry, was the healthiest, most of you knew her actually, was the healthiest, most energetic and resilient person I've ever known. She practiced healthy habits, exercising daily, eating a healthy diet, and always maintaining a positive attitude. She was the essence of health and vitality, she was the essence of health and vitality. We both came from long-lived families, and despite a few health challenges that I faced, we fully expected to live a long and happy life together. One day, she went to urgent care with what she thought was a cold that wouldn't resolve. As the doctor checked her out, she noticed that Terry was jaundiced and suggested a liver panel. That was followed by an urgent phone call saying, "Get yourself to the ER now," as her liver readings were seriously out of the norm. It was determined that her bile duct was blocked. This was followed by an unsuccessful effort to clear the blockage. There are certain moments, we've all had them, when we experience an event or receive some information and the memory stays with us for the rest of our lives. I remember when JFK was assassinated, for instance. And most of us here remember 9/11. Everybody can reflect back on such happenings. For me, one that will stay with me for the rest of my life will be the day that the doctor came into Terry's hospital room and sat on the edge of her bed and said, "Well, in reviewing your MRI, we've discovered a mass in your pancreas. I'm so sorry." In that moment that led to Terry's pancreatic cancer diagnosis, I recall experiencing a sudden shift in perspective, a glaring before and after, when priorities instantly rearranged themselves. We each found ourselves adapting to a new and unfamiliar paradigm and the changes it required in our respective roles. Me as caregiver, Terry as care receiver. The awkward learning curve of finding myself doing things as a caregiver that I could never have conceived of having to do, and Terry's initial exasperation in requiring help with things that she never thought she would. The physical limitations she experienced, especially after the first of 2 major abdominal surgeries, was so frustrating. This independent, self-sufficient woman who had previously only asked for help in figuring out the TV remote now needed help in ways that she never anticipated. Each of us had to adapt to the new reality in our own ways and with our own styles while remaining in our close partnership with each other. As we grew more comfortable isn't really the right word, but as we adapted, our relationship found a degree of nourishment in this early phase. Terry was determined to fight, and I was committed to supporting her in her struggle. Our emotional connection, which had always been strong, grew even closer over that time. Initially, we held on to a strong feeling of hope for a cure and recovery. Our initial visits with the medical staff at Columbia Presbyterian were laced with optimism. The doctor told us that the tumor was in a surgically approachable area of the pancreas, that it appeared to be encapsulated, that is, not metastasized. This optimism was part of the professionals. This optimism on the part of the professionals was something that we both held on to. This hope was also nourishing for us. The hope itself was a form of sustenance. In November of 21, Terry underwent surgery known as the Whipple procedure, which was actually pioneered at Columbia Presbyterian, by the way, by a guy named Whipple. So, Mr. Whipple, no, don't squeeze the Charmin, but anyway, different Whipple. Anyway, the point of the surgery was to remove the tumor and move on. But the world shifted on its axis again when the doctor called me only a few hours into the procedure to say that he had to abort the operation because her pancreas was too inflamed and to continue would have been life-threatening. Surgery would have to be delayed for several months, and in the meantime, Terry would have to start chemotherapy. 6 months later, the surgery was successfully performed, but during that time, the cancer had found its way into her lymph system and, as we subsequently learned, into her liver. The following several months were consumed with more chemotherapy as well as radiation. During that time, Terry could have taught a master class in hope. But as we gradually realized that the condition was terminal, acceptance entered the picture. This was not a sudden shift, but a process involving an emotional roller coaster for both of us and an incredible degree of courage on Terry's part to face it. I said that Terry could have taught a master class in hope. The sequel to that could have been a master class in unwavering, incredible resilience. Even after hearing that there was no hope for a cure, she never gave up on living. Her strength, her spirit, and her refusal to be defined by her illness became an inspiration to me and our friends and family, all the people around us. She never gave up on work, travel plans, or the hobbies that she loved. Despite the pain and the onerousness of her treatments, her spirit continued to shine through. Now, about my own journey of acceptance. When routine imaging revealed that the cancer had metastasized to Terry's liver in early 2023, I found myself struggling to accept what I knew to be the inevitable loss. I found myself seeking support from caregiver groups, friends, and anybody else I could find. In the meantime, Terry and I packed as much living into her last year as we could, with trips to Washington for the spring cherry blossoms, a cruise around Iceland with our good friends Harold and Sylvia Kirk, and an October trip to Sicily, which was then followed. We no sooner got back from Sicily and things started to fall apart. That was followed by several hospitalizations from complications, ultimately with Terry coming home to hospice care. I had promised her I wouldn't let her die in a hospital, so she spent her last 2 weeks at home in a hospice bed in our den where she could look out at the water, which she loved. Our daughter Jessica had flown out from Minnesota in mid-December to help, and her presence was immeasurably comforting to both Terry and me. The caregiving requirements had intensified to the point where it would have been impossible for me to handle them by myself. Toward the end, Terry was sleeping most of the time, but at one point, as I was sitting by her bedside, she woke up and said, "John, what are you going to do?" To which I replied, "I'm going to keep going." Satisfied, she just nodded her head and she went back to sleep. I realized that I'd just made a promise that I had no clue how to keep. I knew she could die at any moment, and I couldn't see past that inevitable moment of separation. Adding one more memory that will follow me my entire life, Terry died at 4:30 in the afternoon on January 19th, 2024. In that moment, I learned that no matter how prepared you think you might be for that final moment of loss, you're not. Jessica stayed for another week after Terry passed, but finally had to return to Minnesota to her own family and job, so here I was, alone with a promise to keep, and I fully intended to keep it. Terry's strength and resilience continued to be an inspiration for me. I knew that I would need help, so I sought out a bereavement support group, first through a program sponsored by the Lutheran Church, which I found helpful to a degree, but too sectarian for my taste, for my Unitarian taste. And then another one through Good Shepherd Hospice, which is part of Catholic Health Systems, which, by the way, is very non-sectarian. Very helpful. Perhaps most importantly, I also developed a renewed appreciation for this congregation, which has been consistently unwavering in its support. Every one of you is a member of my family. Looking back, my UU faith and community helped me prepare for life's unscripted journey. After Terry's passing, I learned that this wasn't just a philosophical idea, it was a living reality. In a time when I felt most alone, I was held close by this community. The calls, the visits, and the quiet presence of friends who just showed up, compassionate, sometimes tearful hugs on Sunday mornings, and lest I forget, the meals that appeared on our doorstep during Terry's illness. These were not acts of dogma or God's will, but of a living, breathing faith rooted in human connection and shared commitment to a love that is larger than ourselves. This congregation became a testament to our principles in action and a vital source of my own recovery and resilience. So what have I learned? I've learned that the grief process isn't described by a particular set of stages that you go through, graduating from one to the next. It's more of an amorphous mess with good days and bad days. Even after more than a year and a half, as I adjust to my new life and find fulfillment in many of my daily activities, I still find myself ambushed from time to time by waves of grief that seemingly come out of nowhere. I understand that this can continue for some time, and I'm not the only one in this congregation who's had a recent loss of this sort, and I know that some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. I've learned that you don't move on, but that you move forward. And I've learned that while grief never goes completely away, the rest of your life, if you let it, will grow around it and cushion the pain over time, as it's beginning to do for me. I've learned that even though it may seem difficult at first, it's important to continue with your friendships and family relationships and to pursue those things that historically have brought you joy and fulfillment. I've learned that it's important to reach out to people who have experienced similar losses because you can find comfort in comforting others. And I've learned that the best way to honor the memory of a lost loved one is to go on. I go on, not just for myself, but to honor Terry's memory, her incredible struggle, and my promise to her that I would keep going. These are the catalysts for my own resilience and my own continuing recovery. Crafting a new life is not replacing, but evolving. Not moving on, but moving forward. Not forgetting or replacing, but rather adapting. There is a choice to wallow in grief and the pain of loss, or to actively work toward crafting a new life. I'm keeping what I can of shared life we had, memories, friends, family, while finding my own way forward with my interests, hobbies, and connections, and being open to new purposes and friendships. I promised my daughter that I wouldn't turn down any dinner invitations, by the way. So I've learned in my evolution as a single person over the last 20 months that I'm capable of moving forward on my own. I understand that I will always love and miss Terry. That said, my focus is on living a full and meaningful life going forward and continually working to define for myself what that means. It's a process, not a conclusion. The love that she and I shared is a foundation, not a limitation. Connecting back to our theme of adaptation, excuse me, in the face of overwhelming sorrow, it's possible to find nourishment, sometimes in unexpected places if you allow yourself to be open to it. We can learn acceptance in the face of the unchangeable, discover profound resilience within ourselves, and nurture hope even after profound loss. We have that strength and that power within ourselves. You need to look for it. I urge you to consider how you may have adapted or might adapt to the changes in your own lives. Loss and sorrow will sooner or later come to all of us. Inevitably, we will lose people, parents, friends, and one partner in every couple that stays together will at some point find themselves faced with the challenge of going on alone. Consider how, in the challenges life will present you, you might find your own nourishment, acceptance, resilience, and hope. Think about it. It might be in a passion for a hobby such as music, volunteering, athletics, or grandchildren. I believe that ultimately, however, we must move forward. We must nurture our own inner strength and resolve, and that when the life that you expected, your plan A, is no longer an option, be ready to formulate plan B. Since we don't have a standard dogma to latch onto, we can turn to each other. Our faith, including our 8 principles and 7 shared values, and our community, are there for us in times both good and bad. Rather than being caught in the dogmatic approach of God's will and ask the Lord to sustain you, I don't mean to denigrate those approaches. Whatever brings people comfort is fine. But if that doesn't work for you, the openness of our faith can help with nourishment, acceptance, resilience, and yes, hope. Nobody has to go through life's challenges alone. You're never alone. Our community, in addition to any friends and family we have, supports us as a never-ending fount of support. A final thought, you don't have to look far. History and our own life experiences are filled with examples of the human spirit's capacity to heal, grow, and find joy despite the adversities that we will all certainly face. I'll leave you with these words by Rumi in closing. Your body is away from me, but there is a window open from my heart to yours. From this window, like the moon, I keep sending news secretly. Please rise and body your spirit and join us in singing hymn 108, How Can I Keep From Singing, known in our hymnal as My Life Flows On. Like I said, it's been a few years. Anyway, they're all ready to sing that last song. And, oh well. The last reading My poem that I wrote this May at what would have been our 48th anniversary, the second solitary wedding anniversary, remembering, May 2025. Life's unpredictable tides and currents, no anchor would hold firm. Adrift from all we thought we knew. The language of medicine, a sudden harsh dialect, demanding questions, a sudden forced fluency. My hands, once strangers to such tasks, became vessels of care, drains, dressings, intimate acts of love defying the inevitable. Our love, forged in the heat of our youth, now an ancient flame, but with this challenge, burning brighter still. Cancer's relentless shadow, a force unbound, taking what it will. The aching truth, a life offered in exchange, a desperate, silent, unanswered prayer. And then, a resilience found in the heart's deep core, the quiet echo of my solitary footsteps, but strong enough to carry on.
As our service concludes, let's all wave and say goodbye to the folks online. Bye. And now may the peace which passes understanding, which the world can neither give nor take away, be and abide with you all, always. After John and Pete sing the postlude, I hope that you go in peace, friends, and keep each other in your hearts. You are not alone.
Pete didn't realize when he signed on to do music with me that he was also going to be my personal assistant. Had my shoulder replaced about 8 weeks ago, and I still don't have full range of motion. Ready? When I was a young man full of vigor and vim, my dad said, "Son, you gotta sink or swim. Life's gonna hand you some lousy breaks. The thing that's gonna get you through the heartaches is plan B. You gotta try again, plan B. Give it another spin, plan B. You don't wanna give in. When plan A fails, you don't sit and wail. You gotta keep on keeping on." Now, Dad said you don't have to take it from me. History is loaded with examples, you see. Nobody succeeded right from the top. Everybody sometime took a great big flop. They told Colonel Sanders to take a hike, 1005 or some such like. He went back again through another door, and now we're eating fried chicken forevermore. Plan B. He tried and tried again, plan B. Gave it another spin, plan B. He just wouldn't give in. When plan A failed, he didn't sit and wail. He kept on keeping on. Tom Edison tried to make a light bulb glow, and when he failed, he didn't get low. They said, "Tom, why don't you just give over?" He said, "Version 10,001 might put me in clover. Plan B." He tried and tried again, plan B. Gave it another spin, plan B. He just wouldn't give in. When plan A failed, he didn't sit and wail. He kept on keeping on. So that's how I rolled through all of my life. Even though I had my share of strife, when I got rejected or turned away, my best girl left and my plans went astray. I went for a drive and my tires went flat. I tried to go camping and my tent collapsed. My job disappeared and I got downsized. I was always able to realize plan B. Now you might wonder how things worked out when I turned my plans all inside out.
Well, let's just say that I'm a happy guy because I know there's always something else to try. Plan B. Give it another spin, Plan B. Give it another spin, Plan B. Not gonna give in. When Plan A fails, you won't hear me wail. I'm gonna keep on keeping on. When Plan A fails, you won't hear me wail. I'm gonna keep on keeping on.